Hi, I'm Tanja. Today I'm going to speak about how to reset your budget. Firstly, I'll go through some reasons why you may want to reset your budget. Then I'll share some information on how you actually reset your budget. And lastly, I'll share some tips on how to keep you on track. Now, there may be many reasons why you would want to reset your budget. The first reason could be that it's the beginning of the new year or it's the beginning of the new month, and you want to be able to start with a clean slate. So instead of bringing over the habits from last month or last year, you've decided, I just want a clean slate and I want to start fresh. Secondly, you could be restarting your budget or resetting your budget because you've had a change in your circumstance. It could either be you've moved to a new country, you have an additional person in your family, or you could have lost your job or your main source of income. Third reason why you would want to reset your budget is that you now want to embark on some new financial goals. Whether or not it's the beginning of a new year, you may be at the point in time where you want to accelerate your savings or you want to make budgeting a focus for your life, or it could be a case where you want to eliminate debt. And in doing that, you would want to reset your budget. Last reason could be to control your spending. Sometimes you go through life just while you're on budget, you spend money not necessarily on things that you need to spend money on, but you assume that because you have a steady income coming in, it's okay. And then the realization is that you've been embarking on a lot of impulse spending or just randomly spending money on things that you don't actually need. And therefore, you decided the best thing is to reset my budget so that I can control my spending and curb my impulse spending. How do you go about resetting your budget? Now, the first things that you would want to do with your budget would be to establish, or your expenses if you don't already have a budget, would be to establish which of those costs are fixed costs in nature and which set of them are variable costs. Fixed costs are those costs that you are obligated to pay monthly. They could be your mortgage, your rent, your car loans, your school fees, insurance, and I'll also add utilities and food. While utilities and food would be considered variable because their amounts change from month to month, there are also expenses that you will incur monthly regardless. Once you've established which of your expenses are fixed in nature and which are variable, then you can go about deciding which of these expenses I no longer need to carry on. Can I limit my subscriptions? Can I drop all of my subscriptions? Can I decide that I don't need a data plan? Can I decide that I'm only going to pay for gym membership if I'm actually going to use it? These are type of decisions that you will start to make once you start to dissect your expenses and decide which of them are fixed in nature, which are variable. Now, resetting your budget can also look like a low spend month, or it can look like a bare bones embarkment. Low spend month are those months where you will only spend money on the things that are absolutely necessary. Again, those fixed expenses. If we're going to look more at a bare bones budget, bare bones again is where you will spend money only on those things that are absolutely necessary. So in a bare bones budget, you could be eliminating not only the data costs and the cables or those subscriptions that you don't need, but in a bare bones budget, you could also be eliminating eating out and those other type of expenses. Once you've established your fixed and your variable, and you are able to go through and eliminate expenses that you are no longer going to carry, then you're halfway there in starting to reset your budget. Now, the next thing that you will want to do is to prepare for embarking on this reset of budget, low spend month, bare bones, whichever category you are going to fall into. And one of the ways that you can do that is by making certain that you are stocked up on the things that you need for that particular month. And that would be whether they're food items, personal care items, medical items, and those type of items that you know you have to spend on, or those things that you need to survive. And if you are especially trying to eliminate impulse buying, then that is one of the very first things that you will want to do. because what it does, it limits your temptation and it limits the amount of times that you have to go into stores. Which leads me into tips for staying on track. Now, one of the biggest tips for staying on track whenever you are resetting your budget, embarking on a low spend or bare bones budget, is to eliminate the temptations. And you eliminate the temptations by canceling all the subscriptions that you had or unsubscribing from all the emails that will tempt you into online shopping or just marketing as a whole. And also making certain that you limit the amount of times that you go into stores. Chances are, if you go into the supermarket, even if it's for an item that you absolutely need, that is on your shopping list, that is within your budget, chances are you're going to also pick up additional items. You may be tempted by just walking past another store on your way to the supermarket. So if you limit the amount of times that you actually go into stores, then that's one easy way to stay on track. Another way to stay on track would be to make certain that you log your expenses. Now, this is something that you should be doing regardless of whether you're embarking on a new era of your financial life. You should be logging your expenses. Only by logging your expenses are you really sure of exactly every item that you're spending your monies on. Logging or tracking your expenses is also a good way to ensure that you're going to be successful when you reset your budget. The third thing that you can do to stay on track would be to let those individuals who rely on you, either those persons who live within your home or those who live outside of your home, who are included in expense items on your budget, to let them know that you are resetting your budget, embarking on a new financial journey, so that you can get that buy-in. One of the biggest deterrents to meeting your financial goals are those outside factors that have the ability to derail your budget, and you want to be sure that everybody is on board with the new financial journey. Lastly, one of the ways that will contribute to your success on this journey is by ensuring that you actually have a budget. If you've gotten to this point and you actually don't have a budget, then it's really important that you go ahead and you start that budgeting process. Because by starting that budgeting process, you know exactly what you want to spend your money on. Setting your budget can be a lifetime accomplishment. This can be something that you've carried on for your life. This could be your new way of living, or this could be simply, this is what I want to do for now to achieve the financial goals for now. And therefore, you can embark on it for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months even. And that will give you the opportunity to really see those expenses that you need and those expenses that you really don't have to have. By doing this, it gives you the opportunity also to create good habits. And those good habits are the habits that will see you being able to be financially successful in the future, as opposed to being successful for 1 month and then you go back to your old spending habits, eroding all of that good work that you have accomplished. Harsh reality is there are individuals out there who will not be able to reset a budget in the way that they would hope. And that is that resetting their budget will not necessarily bring them any more residual income. And this is because the majority of their expenses are fixed in nature. Basically, by the time they finish paid for their mortgage, their rents, their school fees, insurance, and those other expenses, there pretty much isn't a lot left for living, or there isn't a lot left for all the other expenses that they need to carry on a fruitful life. Now, if you find yourself in that category, don't despair. What you may need to do is embark on a debt elimination strategy before you can really start to do the financial journey that you would want to do, whether it's an accelerated savings or whether you want to provide money into investments for your future. Now, if you are going to embark on a debt elimination, you still need to do the whole exercise of determining which expenses you can let go and how you're going to be able to channel money through that debt. I'll discuss debt elimination in another video. If you're looking for additional help or support as you reset your budget, you can log on to www.livinglowonabudget. There are templates there to help you get your financial and other parts of your life organized so that you can live a fruitful and successful life. You can also check Amazon.com for Living Loud on a Budget, where I discuss how I personally have reset my budget several times over years.